How the heretics? Why do Vladimir Putin hate the Jehovah Witnesses? Well, I was at a Russian Bethel. I've been in Russian congregations. I would just like to tell you a story because I met a sister and I asked her, where did you grow up? And she said she grew up in a city with no name. And I said, how can a city have no name? And she said, well, it had no name and you could not find it on any maps. And I said, was it a small city? And she said, it was a city with 100,000 citizens. So 100,000 citizens in a city with no name that you couldn't find on any map. So obviously this was a city that was involved with making nuclear weapons. But just try to imagine the mindset of the KGB when they thought this is possible to keep a city with 100,000. Because if a city have 100,000 people, that means that there's potentially 400,000 grandparents, and among that 200,000 grandmothers. Imagine if you would go in your country and ask a bunch of grandmothers to never ever talk about their grandkids again. Imagine that. Because the people who moved there were listed as deceased. They were removed from all the scrolls. So the mindset of an organization that could keep this huge secret, there's a lot of paranoia and a lot of hard work to keep this. And this organization also had to deal with an American organization that go from door to door, mapping Soviet and sending reports to America. I don't believe that Jehovah Witnesses are a spy organization. If you disagree with me, please let me know in the description. I don't believe they are a spy organization. But on the other hand, I'm not in the KGB. So it's not in my job description to be paranoid. And the KGB, when they put up this enormous task to have a city with 100,000 people, secret, they had to take it seriously. Like the Manhattan Project in the United States of America. Well, they were military personnel. They were not civilians. And they were vetted, but still, it managed to leak out what was happening. But imagine having a city with 100,000 people. So when you're in Russia, you realize the science doesn't make any sense. If it says you could go in that direction and the distances. And it's actually prepared for an invasion. You know, if you've seen in the Ukraine, they take the signs down to confuse the enemy. In Russia, the signs are so confusing that they can actually leave them up. You can leave the signs up and the enemy will get lost. So, like I said, I don't believe that Jehovah Witnesses going from door to door is a spy organization. And there's a lot of organizations that go from door to door. I remember I grew up in Sweden, and Sweden and Finland were neutral during Cold War. And people in the Eastern Bloc were very poor. So in the summer, there used to come Polish students, and they would go from door to door and sell knickknacks they made, you know, art. And say, oh, we're Polish students and we need some money, and people would buy it. The funny thing with Jehovah Witnesses, they would believe that this is Jehovah's hand. Because why would they come to me if it wasn't for Jehovah leading them to me? So I get to preach behind the Iron Curtain. So Jehovah Witnesses absolutely love to buy this knick-knack and try to give them tracts and explain about the governing body and paradise in 1914 and everything. They absolutely loved it. But then I remember, I think it was in 1995, there was an announcement on the news from the Swedish intelligence agency that the Polish students are back. And they said the Polish students going from door to door selling knickknacks, they didn't come in 1992, 1993, and 1994. So why all of a sudden would Polish students not have the need for extra cash in 1992, 1993, and 1994, but then realized they needed extra cash in 1995? Why did they not need extra cash when the Soviet collapsed and all the KGB agents lost their jobs? Well, they were basically a part of a spy organization. So The Swedish official maps you can buy everywhere looks like this. It's 1 to 50,000. But when Soviet collapsed, they sold everything. It was a gigantic flea market, so they even started selling Scandinavian maps, and we bought them for fun. And they were in 1 to 60,000. So I remember there was a local farmer who looked at his estate and saw, well, there's a small bridge over this creek that he built himself. And it's not on the official map, but it was on the Soviet map. So those people that went from door to door, they were doing a mapping operation. They bought Swedish maps that you can buy on every petrol station, and then they would pick up all the discrepancies. So the Swedes could not keep a road secret. They could not keep a building secret. But the Soviets could keep a city with 100,000 people secret. So imagine what they thought about the Jehovah Witnesses. But those students, they did more than just mapping Sweden. So there's a sinister part of this. They were also checking up the home address of our officers and our fighter pilots. So we believe that a Soviet assault or a Russian assault on Sweden or Finland would start with our fighter pilots, and as many officers as possible would be executed early in the morning on their home address. So officers in Scandinavia, they're allowed to carry a handgun if they want to. So we have weapons in Scandinavia. I'm a gun owner, but we're not supposed to walk around carrying a handgun. We're not allowed to do that. We're allowed to own them. But officers and fighter pilots, every fighter pilot is an officer, and they're allowed to have a handgun for that reason. So, like I said, I don't believe that Jehovah Witnesses are a spy organization, but please hear me out. Would it be impossible for the CIA to use the Jehovah Witness infrastructure? Let's say you wanted to send a man to Russia and use that infrastructure. All you would have to do is to have an agent go to jw.org and ask for a Bible study. Then he would have to read a book and parrot every paragraph. Even a child can do it, I know. And then he would take a dive in a swimming pool. Then he would ask to be a pioneer for 6 months. Then he would apply to Bethel. And if that application say that I can buy my own ticket, I would like to work for free for the rest of my life, I speak perfect Russian, and I had a law degree, what will happen? Bang! You would be sent to the Russian Bethel. It's that easy. It's very easy to infiltrate Jehovah Witnesses because Jehovah Witnesses want to be infiltrated. Because they're not spy organization, I don't believe that, but any organization that would like to put a man inside, they can do it. And how do KGB know that? Well, because according to Watchtower literature, KGB had a lot of people inside the Watchtower. There was, according to Watchtower literature, you can check this up, a lot of Jehovah Witness elders that were KGB agents. And the fact that Jehovah Witnesses admit this is a big deal because Jehovah Witnesses also say that every elder is appointed by Holy Spirit. So the fact that they go to the extreme length that actually admitting that, well, some of them were KGB agents. So that's why I believe that the KGB, their mindset, they are still preparing for World War II. And that kind of analog spy operation where you go and knock at door is not really necessary anymore. But in their mindset, I don't know. But that's my 2 cents. So please let me know in the description, if you're a patriotic American and a proud gun owner, what will you do when the Girl Scouts knock at your door, try to send Taliban cookies? Please let me know. And if you're new to this channel, it's called Goatlike Personality. And why I sat here was because it's a great footage about the goats running away. I can't control them. So that's my point. But I can't predict what they do, and they decided to stay here. But Jehovah Witnesses are, from Putin's perspective, they do have a goat-like personality because they just go everywhere. you can't confine them. So if you have a city with 100,000 people, sooner or later, someone will knock at the door and send a report to America. And that's why Vladimir Putin don't like people with a goat-like personality. My channel is called Goatlike Personality, and I hope you join my 144,000 subscribers. If you leave a comment, you will get 10 extra minutes of everlasting life. And if you push like, you will get 10 extra minutes of something invisible. I can guarantee that. So, like and subscribe, and see you in paradise. I just remember one thing, that if you want to fact check this story in the English language, you can just Google city number 40. I think that was the code name, and you'll find article in English about this city, city number 40. And if you've never seen my channel before, I'm obviously a goat farmer and a human rights activist. So big thanks for my patrons that support me, because I have to take time away from work to do this. And as a nice gesture back, I always allow my patrons to name my goats. And I got a shitload of goats now. So all my patrons, please leave a message in the description what you want the goats to be called. So thank you very much, and see you in the next video.